If you're anything like me, the Tales of games have always been that action RPG, and by that I mean they've always been that action RPG that I never played. I know it's a well-established franchise with a solid fan base, but the series has never really done anything to me to get me to pull the trigger and try it out. I came really close with Tales of Berseria, but at the end of the day I just didn't take that dive. I've talked to many RPG fans and found that I was unsurprisingly not alone in this sentiment. However, the upcoming entry Tales of Arise really has piqued my interest and will for sure be a day one buy for me, especially after playing the demo that just released. Interestingly enough, many of the same people I talked to that never played a title in the series are similarly hyped about Arise. This game is attempting to set itself apart from its predecessors, and at the time of this preview, it's doing a great job. Today we're going to take a look at all that we know about Tales of Arise and discuss why it's so appealing to newcomers. What's up guys, my name is the Ashen Dragoon, and here on this channel I make videos covering gaming and gaming news with a focus on RPGs. I also make in-depth analysis videos on the games that I love, so if you do like the video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get notified every time that I upload. Before talking about Tales of Arise specifically, I want to take a second to look at the history of the Tales of series, and despite having 16 mainline entries to date, I think there are a lot of people like myself who don't really know what the Tales games are. For the most part, it's a series of action JRPGs where each game is its own self-contained story, similar to Final Fantasy. There are some exceptions to this, but I think this is a pretty good generalization. I've always found it interesting or ironic that the series has remained relatively quiet in the West, since oftentimes modern-day Japanese developers really seem to believe that Western audiences need action combat to stay engaged in a game. Tales of Phantasia kicked the series off in 1995, and since then it's accrued a faithful, substantial following in Japan, but really struggled to catch on in the West despite the real-time combat it's known for. This could be because some of the games have a reputation, maybe even an unfair one, as being button mashy. I also think that this could be due to how unapologetically anime or Japanese the series can be. From the way the game is voice acted to plot devices and the implementation of tropes, sometimes even including waifus. Don't get me wrong, this stuff may be appealing to many, myself included, but I still believe it can lead to some hesitancy among the greater Western audience. Again, the series has a rep, possibly undeserved, of having a fairly generic, predictable, and bland stories. I can say personally that this has been the biggest reason I haven't dived into the franchise. Like I said, this may be extremely unfair, and I'm sure there are exceptions, but I'm just speaking as a newcomer and explaining the sentiment of many people who haven't played the games before. I hold story above all else when it comes to RPGs. However, for those who know what they are getting into, this series could even be considered comfort food. You know what you're going to get for the most part when it comes to the Tales of games. I think what has a lot of people excited about Tales of Arise is that Bandai Namco seems to be conscientiously trying to address many of the gripes gamers have had that have held them back from playing the Tales of games in the past. From the demo, the combat felt incredible. It definitely did not feel button mashy or brainless, even in random encounters. The flashiness and controlled chaos of combat isn't new, but Arise is clearly on a new level. I really liked how each and every character felt different to play as. Again, I know that's not uncommon for the Tales of games, but it jumped out to me how each character really is unique. The art style in Tales of Arise is just incredible. I didn't have a problem with the art of previous Tales games before, but I think some slight adjustments were made to make Arise more appealing to a wider Western audience. The body proportions seem to be more realistic than previous titles, and I think some of the cutesy vibes have been toned down a bit. The game looks absolutely stunning on the PS5, and everything ran at a buttery smooth 60 FPS without any hiccups. I really liked the approach Bandai Namco took with this game because they really were able to stick to the roots of the Tales of franchise while still iterating and improving upon the tried and true formula. The voice acting does still feel very anime, and party members still incessantly shout during combat, but I think that's something that's just ingrained in the series at this point and will never change. As I mentioned before, the series is notorious, again, deservedly or not, for bland stories. I think Arise may be onto something though, at least from what we've been shown so far. The story involves two planets, Dana and Rena has authority over Dana and has been holding Danan citizens under their thumb and extracting resources at will. Our two main characters are Alphen and Shion, who have quite the interesting dynamic between the two of them. Alphen is a Danan who cannot feel pain, while Shion is a Renan who inflicts pain upon anybody who comes in contact with her. Based on the story trailers that have released so far, it looks like the two are on a quest to liberate Danan and ensure the equal treatment of the citizens of both worlds. Personally, this story really has me intrigued, and I'm very excited to see where they take things. I think there's a lot of potential here, and what we've been shown so far is extremely promising. Our traveling party will also consist of Rinwell, a Danan mage, Law, a martial artist, Kisara, a tank with a badass shield, and Dohalim, a noble who fights with stabs. During my time with the demo, this cast felt colorful and diverse, so I can't wait to see the party dynamics of Danans and Renans together. Based on the hype and excitement I'm seeing about this game out there on the internet, I'm assuming there are a lot of other gamers out there who are hopeful this can be a breakthrough story for the series. All in all, I am unbelievably excited for Tales of Arise, and that really seems to be the general sentiment. September 10th cannot come soon enough. Typically, Tales of games sell in the 1 to 2 million range, but I'm predicting that this game may sell 3 to 4 million units with some of the buzz surrounding Arise. But I want to know what you guys think now. Have you played any of the Tales of games before, or will you be a newcomer with Tales of Arise? If you're a newcomer, what about this game piqued your interest? And finally, do you think that this can become the best-selling Tales of game ever? Let me know the answer to all those questions down in the comments below. If you did like the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon to get notified every time that I upload. I'm going to keep making content with a focus on RPGs and JRPGs, with some Smash Bros mixed in there as well. Until the next video, thanks for stopping by.